Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you well, Mataji. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Hare Krishna.
Oh, we can hear you.
Thank you, sir. Hare Krishna. So today we will be, starting the 17th chapter. So the last but one chapter. So all these chapters are very important. Why is it important? It is not only giving you the gyan, but it also gives you vijnana, which means that it's not stopped by just telling you what you have to do. It also tells you how you have to do. So the entire concept revolves around, the principles of teaching. How can you take it forward? How can you, implement that? And how will you manage if you come across or counter somebody who is exactly in that path of vijnana? Now, back to the lesson. Can anyone tell me the name of the chapter? Number I already told.
The division of faith, Mataji. Faiths.
Division of faith.
So, okay, division of faith. So that's very important, right? So how? I'm not going to ask how, but we've spoken, not explicitly given here, but it is given in both Ishopanishad and Nectar of Devotion explicitly. Here also we are talking on, based on faith, we are three categories of people. Or rather I would use the word devotees. So can you tell me what are the three categories of devotees based on faith?
Rajagunam, Tamagunam,
Sattva, Raja, Tamo.
Okay, so these are the gunas which categorizes a person, right? With respect to your conditioning of the soul. Asking is how can the faith be divided? Remember 7th chapter, we did read, right? We saw
Daivi Gunam and Asuri Gunam.
That's also very nice. Okay, now I will get to hear a lot. So let me sit. Okay, so two broad classifications, very nice. Based on Devik and Asurik, you have classifications whether it's good or bad. Now, among the Devik, how do you categorize based on faith? Can you tell all of us are having all the 26 Devik qualities and we are at Suddha Sattva platform?
No, Mataji.
We can't. So somebody in Suddha Sattva platform, what is he called and what is our platform called? Our platform we read in 7th chapter. I am asking you definitely advanced questions because the moment I told Isha Upanishad, it is definitely next level. We have not done it, and Nectar of Instruction also. But I just want you all to try. So there is this 26 characters. You all told me that somebody has achieved. So that means somebody is in a different level to us, right? Compared to us. So that means we are different and they are different, but we are all devotees. We are not us. So what is their category called, and what is our category called?
Our category is called a mode of passion, Mataji.
No, we can't say that, no, Prabhu. We can say even mode of ignorance, right? And the mode of goodness. All three are playing for us. See, we can't, for example, if you see in this group, from my understanding, you can see, I can relate myself more to passion. I will relate Mohandas Prabhu more to goodness. But whatever said and done, both of us are in the same platform, right? Just because he is in the mode of goodness, we cannot tell him, okay, he's Suddha Sattva and therefore he is in the highest platform. We still can't say that. Right? So we are all in this, and we may still have someone in the mode of ignorance too, who may want to become, who's trying. For example, if you take the 7th chapter, right? We have this Chatur Vijay Bhajante Ma, right? So what are the 4 names which they say? Asukrit Nojuna, Artha Jignashu Arthati, Jnani Cha Bharatarishta. So Artha, the desire of wealth, so I'll go in order. Arthati is the, Artha is the distress. Desire of wealth is Arthati. Jignashu, very curious, right? And Jnani is an elevated platform. But all 4 are in what's called bigness platform. So we all 4, if you say a Jnani will be more of goodness, but if you say an Artha will be more of even ignorance, because he is looking for wealth also, right? Artha and Jignashu. Artha and Arthati. So in the beginning, we may be in any platform. So what is that beginning stage called?
Is it like a Mudas, Naradamas, Maya, Pradmasa?
That is atheist. That is very nice. That is atheist. We are not in that category. None of us here are in this category because if we are in this category, we won't be able to, first of all, chant. Second, we won't be able to hear level 2 till 8th chapter. So I can tell you one thing and maybe the other 2 you can fill. The first level is called neophyte, which is also called the Kanishta Adhikari.
Inquisite, Mataji. Inquisite.
Everybody comes under Kanishta Adhikari. We have 3 levels of faith. Based on that, it is divided, not explicitly given in Bhagavad Gita, but the categorization is neophyte, which is what we are. We can be in any mode because we are just beginning, right? The next one is the Madhyamadhikari.
Madhyamadhikari.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Please finish.
Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari.
Superb. Uttamadhikari. So Uttamadhikari we've actually read, but not in that name. Second chapter we saw Sitadir Muni. Then Dhira said, Mahabhagavata. So we have used different names, but why are we using different names? So what is different about a guru? Why do we talk that we need a guru? And Namnishta Prabhu, reason, because the faith is different. The faith which you have is different from the faith which Guru has. So that, right? So someone who's a strong devotee tells you that this, for example, you go to a shop and you're buying a diamond. Okay, now you're taking somebody who's an expert in that, right? Who will vouch and tell you, hey, this is a good quality diamond. So I still remember my friends when they want to select some very good expensive material, silk or something. They used to take me, not because I have knowledge, but by the touch and feel, I will tell whether that is silk or whether it's fake, or probably, my previous dharma, I must have been either a washerman or a clothes seller. So, I could touch and tell, right? So what we need is somebody in that expertise, right? So for TV, I've been still struggling with smart TV. I'll try and connect to people who are experienced in that, right? To tell how do I connect? Because I am a neophyte. I don't know how to connect. But somebody who is more experienced will be able to enlighten and help me to navigate that faster. So one is I will be educated, but to get educated also I need support, right? So I will connect to this person. I'll call. Same calling is what is Guru. So Guru has more knowledge and more faith. Simple, that's all. Otherwise, the history behind that is different, but overall the faith is what differentiates. Now, just like in the 5th chapter, we saw there is no difference, right? We saw that, he will see everyone equally. Therefore, a guru who is a Uttamadhikari will generally not come into the teaching platform. If he comes, he will come down to the level of Madhyamadhikari because he needs to differentiate, right? He is, for example, if you say Sukadev Goswami, he is a Uttamadhikari, right? Which is why he could not feel anything bad. So they have the power of converting material into spiritual. Example, Prabhupada, he not only went by flight and used it for Krishna, he also went to a set of people like hippies. Can you imagine if some hippie is coming? So I still recall that we were in a restaurant, okay? And this was like 5 years back. And there were a couple of them speaking. And there was one girl who just fainted, and she was a foreigner, right? And she was nice. The moment I stepped close, the first thing which I wanted to lift her or help her, but the first thing which sort of scared me, on the bottom of my heart is, I was like not sure, if I can handle her like this, or I don't know what happened, whether she was a dope, whether she was may not be any of that, but the mind, sort of runs in various things, right? You get judgmental. Right? You get very judgmental. Okay, can you do this? Is there something more complicated in a fraction of a second? Right? And even though I went helped her, my heart was not as pure as I would possibly help someone who is archaic, right? Because when you help, you don't keep estimating. But here fully I was thinking, oh my God, will I get into some complication? Okay, I call the ambulance. I hope he won't ask me anything. I'm just sitting in the next table. So should we not be in trouble? And I had another colleague of mine. We were waiting for some people. So they were saying that, why don't you wait? Why are you rushing? So some more people can come, right? So you're handling it on your own. You know the kind of risk. Actually, there was no risk. She just she didn't eat, or she was new to a place. That was the reason, because after she was lifted by the ambulance, I called and found. And this was the story. But what I'm trying to tell is, this is how we complicate, right? Do you get? So we are in a platform where a simple thing also we concoct. Whereas Prabhupada, he went to a place where there are full of hippies, all abominable activities, right? Smoking, drinking, eating, sex was like normal. Non-veg was this part of life. In fact, in the middle of the night, there was one particular hippie who was about to kill Prabhupada. Imagine at the age of 70, he was running in the middle of the night. And this fellow is running right behind Prabhupada. So you can imagine what level they can go down to bring them who are down up, right? This is a symptom of a guru. I was telling the difference, right, between a guru and a speaker. Speaker will just speak and run away, like management talks, right? They will just talk. They don't care whether you get promotion or not. It's just that 1 hour they get paid, they will speak and go. But a guru is someone who will hold you and lift. So this factor differentiates. And before I start the session, I'm giving this Gan even before Mangalarti, Mangalachara, keep telling Mangalarti because I attended in the morning. So is because that is very important. So we all will believe that we have strong faith, but let's all see how much faith we have. Hare Krishna. So let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So what do you want me to start with? I have a doubt. Did I take you all to this Narada story? Narada goes to Narayana and asks who is the greatest devotee. I'm not too sure if I did tell the story at the beginning. Maybe if I share the picture. Do you recall? Do you recall this particular picture? Did I tell you all this story?
No, Mataji.
I haven't told you.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I will tell you the story, provided all you can chat, you can type chat, or you can put in the group. I leave the choice to you. If you all can tell, including Mohandas Prabhu, tell me that what is your level of faith in God. You can have anything in terms of percentage, which is easier. You can tell 100%, you can tell 0%, you can tell 20%, you can tell any number, right? But I just would request each one of you all to either put in chat, either privately to me or in the group, or if you're still uncomfortable, at least in a paper. What is your level of faith? And, can I request all of you all to start now? Okay, thank you. So start, all of you.
Question is what level of faith we have, or generally
What level of faith currently you have in God?
In percentage.
What percentages? How much faith we have? Whether we have 100%, whether we have 60%, whether we have 30%, whether we have 0%, 75%, very nice. 100%, Mohandas Prabhu, Sandhya Mataji, 100%, Manjari Mataji, Balaji, okay. Shopanaka, 100%. Very nice. I'll give you all a minute. Can we start the session with a story in that case?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So, okay, still answers are coming up. Okay, so we have a lot of 100%, right? So so let's start off with this story. Okay, so it's a detailed story, but I'm just taking one part of the story. The first part of the story is that he goes to various people to check who is the greatest devotee. So he goes to many people, right? So he starts off with Indra, and Indra says that, how can you call me the greatest devotee? I like sort of took Vishnu under test, right? In Krishna's case, Govardhana Leela. Then he went to Brahma. Brahma said, I'm fit for nothing. I went and kidnapped and created distress. Okay. And then he went to Shiva. Shiva says that, no, how can you call me the greatest devotee? Because I am someone who actually, Krishna, I'll mute everyone. I'm someone who, is not even sure on the process. I don't follow the protocols also. Then he went to Pandavas. So Pandavas said, we've only brought distress to Krishna. Then Uddhava said, oh no, I'm a hardcore fan. Don't even involve me. right? And then goes on and on like that in the list. And finally he decides, okay, let me just come to Narayana. Narayana, Narayana, can you tell me who is the greatest devotee? So Narayana says, I will give you this answer, but there is a worm. Okay, why don't you go and ask the worm? The worm knows the answer. Narada is shocked. Oh my God, the worm knows the answer. Okay, I will still ask. He goes to the worm. Right? So he goes to the worm and he asks, hey worm, can I know who's the greatest devotee? The worm looks at Narada and the worm is excited and it comes forward to tell him who the greatest devotee is. He's coming close and opening his mouth to tell, there is this particular bird which comes and lifts the worm, and obviously it's right, the worm is dead. So Narada goes back to Narayana, back to square one. Narayana, Narayana, can you tell me who's the greatest devotee? He told, I sent you. He said, yes, but you know what happened? You already know what happened. The worm was swallowed by the bird. He said, okay, don't worry. I will now tell you a cow, right? I will show you a cow. You can go and ask the cow that, so where is the cow? Actually, it's not a cow, it's a calf. So the first word it speaks will be to you, and it will tell you who's the greatest devotee. Because we all know, right? When we are in the womb, we remember Krishna. We remember everything, and we in fact even pray that, we should either come there or come here quickly. But the fact is, once we are born, we forget. So this car, he said that it's still in the womb and it is just going to come out. And the moment it comes out, you can go and ask. So Narada is running, okay, to see this calf. Beautiful, right? Yes or no? I somehow like this calf very, very much. So do you all love this?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. So at least we are two of us who love this calf. So let's see. So it's a beautiful calf, it's like golden brown and white, and it is looking at Narada. Narada is so excited. Oh, wow, such a beautiful calf is going to tell me, because the calf is, all of us know it's in the mode of goodness. So I'm going to hear from the calf, the greatest devotee. And he goes to the calf, and the calf also runs to Narada, and it comes close to Narada. And as soon as he looks at Narada, he has a heart attack and dies on spot. Okay, Narada is like broken. Oh my God, I have come here all the way to just make sure that I will get the truth. But unfortunately, I am not able to tell the truth. Hear the truth. Let me go back to Narayana. He says, Narayana, Narayana, I went to the calf, but the calf died. It had a heart attack. So what do I do? Why don't you tell me? Narayana says, no. If I tell you, it's always best to learn from experience, right? So if I tell you, you will still be arguing with me, or you will not be convinced, just like all of us, right? We want examples to be more realistic rather than just theoretical. So he says, go. So what should I do? He says, go to this kingdom. And there is this king who never had a child for 20 years. They did a lot of tapas and they got a child for taking over to be the legal hire. Now, this is a newborn child, which is just on its process to be born. And when you reach, the child would be born. So, and it's a very special child with a lot of tapas, given, so it's a very sacred child. Why don't you go and ask, it's a very sweet child, right? And very beautiful child. Why don't you go and ask, the child? Now, Narada's heart skips 2 beats. Anybody's heart skipping a beat? For me, I literally, I choked when I heard this. I want all of you to talk. So Narada is like confused, right? So he wants to ask because he wants to go by Narayana, but he's very scared. So if you, or each one of you tell me, are you all scared? One. Second is, what should Narada do? Then we will see, then I will tell, should I continue the story today, or should I keep the suspense for tomorrow?
Tell the story today, ma'am.
Yes, then Rupa Mataji, you tell me an idea what Narada should do. What should he do?
He should continue.
He should continue.
Do as, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, somebody else. Okay, Itraj, right? Shobana and Itraj, what should he do? What should he do?
Krishna Mataji.
Yes. Any other suggestion? Yeah, please go ahead. What should we do? Anyone feels opposite to that? We should not continue.
We can continue, Mataji.
All of you are confident that he can continue. Are you sure? Is there
Maybe you should ask the question once again, Mataji.
what I was asking is Narada, Narayana tells Narada, if you really want to know the truth, still if you are curious to know the truth, that who is the greatest devotee, and you still want to fulfill that desire of yours to know who the greatest devotee is, you can go to this child who's just born, is going to be born to the king who never had a child in the last 20 years. And the child is a very special child because he's born out of the Agna. You go ask the child, that child will reveal who the greatest devotee is. So Narayana says that that's the option. If you still want to pursue your and go and ask, you can go and ask the child. So I leave the choice to you is what Narayana says. So what should Narada do? He had 2 experiences and both died. So what should Narada do? Should he go and see the child, or should he step back, or should he, what should he do? So I'm just asking you all, what should be the decision which Narada should take?
You should-
You should take a commitment from Krishna that nothing will happen to the child.
He should okay. See, so far we were
All the other.
we want Krishna to be order supplier. Now we want Krishna to be not only order supplier, we want Krishna to be one level higher, committer also. I will not commit anything to you, you must, but I love your answer. But you should commit everything to me. I won't do anything, but you should do everything. He will commit. But the fact is, the story is, though you want to know, you have to know. So I can't promise anything, right? So even if he promises, okay, I will assure that he will not die. How helpful it is if the child is born like a vegetable. So Krishna can always play around if we try to play around, like Hiranyakashipu, if you recall. Hiranyakashipu said, nobody should kill me, water, one big list. Same way Ravana told, no one should kill me except man he left, because he thought man will not be able to kill. So like that, our loophole Krishna knows to enter. Sandhya Mataji's BP is going up as much as mine. I don't want Mataji, I'm scared if he may die. True. I was very scared. I'll tell you what was my feeling. I was so scared and I was thinking, Narada, drop it. Forget it. Chodo whoever is the greatest. How does it matter to you? Just move on. Right? So I'm happy Sandhya Mataji is there. Anybody feel similar to Sandhya Mataji? Nobody. Sandhya Mataji, only you and me have company to each other.
Since I know, I am keeping quiet, but
Yeah,
otherwise I'd have been with you.
Yeah, I know. So, so anybody else? I'll ask Arun. Arun?
Yes, Mataji. So I was actually thinking that he might also die, but then Mataji, then I also thought that because Lord Narayana is trying to teach something to Narad Muni, so he should, if he has faith, because even if that child is going to die, that's probably the Narayana's wish that the child needs to die. That's why Narayana knows everything and he's going to send him to that child.
Very nice. That's a very lateral thinking. No one has given me this answer. Thank you so much, Arun. That is also nice. He's going to die, but I'm okay to take it because now that's very exalted level of thinking. Can't expect, I didn't expect that from you. So now who is this? Now our Shyam Prabhu, I have to hear. You always talk. You can't be silent.
Yes, Mataji, I agree with you. And okay, whoever is the best bhakta, what is there in it? Let us leave it and move on.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the feeling we had, and I like Arun's realization too. But bottom line is, all of us, have felt. So now he goes. I don't want to increase the view of Sandhya Mataji. He goes, and Narada's face, he's also pale, right? So he's also run by shock. Now the moment he sees the child is up, just newborn child, looks up at Narada and stretches his hand. And Narada's Veena is also literally falling, like how Gandhi bow is falling, it's falling. Everybody is stunned, some are scared because the child is just born and up, and the child is stretching its hand to Narada, and Narada is also stretching the hand. Both are stretching the hand to each other really close. And the child is holding Narada's hand and is still alive. And Narada's BP is also going up just as us. And the child says, Narada, you're here. Thank you so much. I know you've come to ask who's the greatest devotee, and that's you. Narada is like, oh my God, I went everywhere. What is the small child telling? He says, yes, you don't recognize me. He says, no, I don't. He said that I was born as the worm. The moment I saw you, I got liberated and I was born in the mode of goodness. Worm is in mode of ignorance. And I was in the mode of goodness. I was a cow. Now again, I saw you, I'm liberated. And today I live here in the most richest kingdom for a king whose son 20 years. So we saw this, right? Papa punya kritak lokan suchitva shashvata samaha suchiman shrimatam deke loko vishto abhidayate. Suchiman shrimatam. Shrimatam means very, very exalted, rich, aristocratic family. Right? And a child who's wrong relished. And you can imagine already born out of yagna, which means he's already in a Suchiman concept, right? They believe in yagna, prayers, pujas, and all that. So therefore, you can imagine the child has a combination of both spirituality as well as finance in him, and he's a very lucky and a blessed child. Right now, how he becomes big, how he uses money is a different story. It's left to him. But he is the one. So why I'm saying this is, now he says that you're the greatest devotee. So what happens is, if Narada had told this to Narada, he would tell that Narayana told this just to please me, right? He'll also tell, I simply is, even if we go and ask, he will tell that. So now you can see, and all of us had our version of story different. Most of us feel that we have 100% faith, and that's the feeling I had before I got into ISKCON. But I had a very staunch faith, because trust is very important for me in life. Love is secondary. But I always felt trust is very important, and that is why I always tell that, whatever the most confidential stuff, whatever, I'm not telling the name so that I'm not redundant in the recording. So I shared with my admin, right? So I think virtually whatever confidentiality is there, Mohandas Prabhu knows it. So why am I saying this is because of the fact that trust is there. So over a period of time, we may develop, friendship, respect, love. That's all secondary. But primarily, unless you get trust, I feel the rest of the things won't fall. So I felt trust was the most ultimate thing for me. But later, after hearing the story, I felt exactly like what Shyam Prabhu told. I could not even realize to the extent Arun Prabhu told, right? 60%, he said, yes, I think he will die, but that's also good. Even that level of thinking didn't go. Why I'm saying this is, we all have different percentages. I'm not going to judge you all based on the percentage. But end of the day, we keep calling ourselves that we have some faith, but either ways, where is our faith? Right? Either we suspect that something is going to happen. And imagine we are all becoming mini controllers, right? We are trying to control the situation. Let him not see. Let him not go. Let me hear of the story. I can't take the suspense. Maybe the child is going to die. Oh my God. All this mini controlling tendency we have. And I appreciate Arun Prabhu really, from bottom of my heart. He also thought he was going to die, but at least he said, okay, that's Krishna willing. Let it be so. Okay, but I couldn't do that. Right? I just told you all, right? My daughter was unwell. So this is the, Devic Asuric qualities when it happens. So what, imagine, I completely forgot. And yesterday I wanted to tell, like, the Asuric quality, harshness. I just immediately told Mamu, sir, this to me. I think somebody who can really relate this so much is Mohandas Prabhu. Mohandas Prabhu was hospitalized. He was unwell, right? And what would anybody's told? You should tell, hello Prabhu, how are you? I hope you're fine. Please recover, take your time and come. Instead, I'm like, what are you doing in the hospital? How long you'll be in the hospital, right? What are they doing? I think you should change your doctor. Imagine the person is already frustrated in the hospital. Sees my kind of message, they will get frustrated, right? That is harshness, right? The Asuri quality, somewhere from the sleep also comes out. Thankfully, Mohandas Prabhu knows very well that, I react differently when it comes to emotion, so he was able to handle. But that's not the expected behavior. The same person would have been much better if I had called and told this. And he also knows. So whenever he goes for a test, right? Even yesterday, I checked at 11 o'clock, what are you doing? Update me, the status when he had gone for a checkup. Okay, but thankfully I thought, okay, I wait till 1, otherwise I will send this message. I just paused. Then by 12:30, he sent it. I thought, okay, you escaped this message, I deleted. So what I'm telling you is that harshness or any quality cannot change overnight, but we can put a hold to it, right? We can put a hold to it, rest it, and then take it. Same way, faith and trust does not come overnight. It's by listening. You keep listening to the gurus, somebody in Madhyamadhikari level, somebody at Uttamadhikari level, we will get that staunch faith. So that is why I wanted to take this story, and I start this chapter with the story, and now we'll go on to the chapter. So faith is more than what we think. We always think we have so much faith, but the truth may be very different from what we feel. Hare Krishna. And thank you so much for all of you for sharing about faith. Why is this presentation not coming up? 1 second.
It is coming, Mataji.
Yes, it's coming for you, but it's not presenting. Wait, I'll close and I'll close all presentation. to a second. So anybody has any realization? Somebody wants to talk till then? Nobody? Somebody? Till my window opens. Isn't this, did you all like this story? Or did you feel it's a waste of half an hour?
No, Mataji, it really, it is very interesting and very suspense thriller like it is.
I love it. See, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam has all suspense, thriller.
Yes, yes. What is going to happen? Yeah.
And on top of that, Mataji was saying, we'll keep it for next day. The rest of the
Oh,
day.
yes.
Yeah. Because I didn't get any reaction. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm only having adrenaline pump. I'm having very calm, composed devotees here. So let me try to pump a little bit of adrenaline. But then I'm glad that your adrenaline pumped so much that you all could not even react. So, Hare Krishna.
We went through the same situation day before, Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah, I know,
Mataji.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah,
Hare
Mohanas Prabhu attends more times, more sessions than I do because he comes half an hour earlier and stays at least 10-15 minutes after me. So I told the same story for the youth. Yeah, for the advanced, one of the groups. So now coming to the divisions of faith. Sraddhätraya Vibhäga Yoga, right? So it's about divisions. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda. And this is a very small chapter, which we saw yesterday, which was like 16th chapter, which spoke about demonic and qualities and the divine quality and the nature of the demon and how we can see the situation. How many demonic qualities and how many divine qualities?
Divine
26
qualities are
demonic and 6
26 and
demonic.
26, 6.
Thank you. Beautiful. 16th chapter, 26 and 6. Right. Thank you so much. So now 17th chapter again is a small chapter, but the last part of the chapter is very important, so which we'll do tomorrow. But the start off with 1 to 7 is one's modes determine one's activities, faith, worship. Right. So that's why when you all told me Sattva, Raja, and Tamas, which you all started, when I asked about faith, I said, okay, let's hold it. I never closed it because that determines somebody's faith. Yes, you're right. This have a large impact on somebody's faith. 8 to 10, food in the modes, right? So there are 3 things which are broadly in the modes. One is food, next is sacrifice, next is austerity, next is charity. Very clearly said, sacrifice, austerity, and charity should not be given up at any point in time. Time in, time out, we've read this. And the conclusion is what is Om, what is Tat, what is Sat. So we're going to see all of it. So let's jump into the 17.1 chapter. One's modes determines one's activities, faith, worship in the modes, right? So chapter 16 explains, we have seen this one, divine qualities that can elevate one to the tree, or lower qualities which can push you down the hill. It also establishes that faithful followers of Shastra. So is the definition, right? We know how do you differentiate a divine and a demonic? It's based on Shastra. So it is faithless or demonic, or are demonic. Either ways it's the same, right? So it is someone who believes in Shastra is called divine, and non-believer is demonic. So that's where we are bringing here. So we know we are divine. We know we are devotees. But are we in Suddha Sattva stage? No. Then what differentiates us from Prabhupada? It's just faith. That is why this chapter becomes very important. And he is in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, right? So he can be anywhere. And depending on that, he's in the banyan tree. And depending on that, he will fall in the level of faith. So summary of section A, one's modes determines one's activities, faith, and worship. Okay. So worship. So now jumping on to what is it, right? Yeah, you all can start reading. Hare Krishna.
Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scripture but worships according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance?" Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Arjuna is asking now, right? Now we know two extreme, believer, non-believer, agreed. Very clear, always the black and white is clear, but most of the time the gray area is, what if he's a worshipper, but according to his own imagination, right? So this reminds, his goodness, passion, or ignorance, right? So this is a classic example. When we were all talking about Bhagavad Gita, my brother had a discussion in my uncle's house. All of us had this debate. And he said, I don't want to read Bhagavad Gita because if I read Bhagavad Gita, I have to follow the rule. So it's like if I go to school, I have to wear uniform. So if I read Bhagavad Gita, I have to follow the rule. So I'll be outside. I said, you can't be outside the school and listen to the class, right? So you're anyway inside the class school. You're anyway inside the class, which is what is the material world. So there is no choice. whether you follow or not. Not reading is not an excuse. He said, I believe I will follow in my own way. Right? So this is the answer for that, because there are many people who will tell this. And also my mom was saying, no, Ravana is a devotee, of course. That is why God came. So many of them have this conviction, right? Of course, Hiranyakashipu may be a devil later, but then he was a devotee in the first place. So one who does not follow the principles of scriptures, but worship according to their own imagination, he's answering. Even Bhashmasura tried to cut his head. There is nowhere in the Shastra it says cut his head. So, I could not handle these questions 1 year back. So yesterday, day before, I was telling my mom, okay, fine. So I tell mommy, I love you a lot. Okay, now if you don't give me this, I'm going to cut my hand. What will you tell me? Tell, are you crazy? So that's exactly what Bhashmasura did, right? It's an emotional blackmail, and we don't appreciate emotional blackmail even among family. So now he's asking what mode is he in. So let's go ahead and read what Bhagwan Krishna is saying. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Traividya Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tham Shranyu. Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about these. Hare Krishna.
Again, he says, so here, so we'll also hear. So the first one, let's say that Rajas, right? So Rajas typically are those who are karmis, and they do a lot of things for satisfying themselves. And however, if they follow the Neshkama Karma Yoga and start surrendering, try and do a lot of good things, really, or pious activity, they go to Svargaloka. Now, an average person who does average good, right? We have this level called average. So average good, which is expected to do, goes to Pitraloka. There also they're very happy. If they do super good, they go to Swargaloka. So that's a Kami's ultimate destination. Now, what is Jnani's destination? He is also Sattvic, right? He's in the Sattvic quality because he's already abandoned all the things which are of the material nature. He doesn't want money, he doesn't want things. So he said, Neti, Neti. He's given up everything, right? And he is focused on Mukti, and he focuses on the Paramatma realization of God. And he goes to Brahma Jyoti and merges with, he's lying there and he'll come back. Now, somebody in Sutta Sattva, which is Krishna devotee, is a Bhakta, he shows prema. And he can serve Krishna in 5 rasas. Either neutral. What are the 5 rasas which they can serve?
Santarasa, Madhura Rasa, Achalya Rasa.
Yeah. One more. Highest.
Dasya Rasa and
Sorry?
Dasya Rasa. One
Dasya Rasa should be the highest, but unfortunately is the center. Not the highest, because every rasa has Dasya Rasa, which is the highest.
Madhurya Rasa.
Vatsalya.
Thank you so much. No,
Vatsalya Rasa.
Madhurya. Madhurya Rasa. Radha Rani's is the highest. So it's like Shantaras, Sankyaras, which is Dasyaras, which is the servitor relationship, which is the center. Because every rasa will touch on this. Sankhya Ras friendship, like Arjuna. You have 2 more levels, which is Vatsalya, parental love, and the Madhurya Rasa, which is the Dwaraka queens and gopis. So clearly 17.3 on to you. Hare Krishna. So that is the relationship you will have with Krishna for a Bhakta. Yes, 17.3. Hare Krishna.
O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Hare Krishna.
So he says that based on the modes, he will develop faith. Now we are all locked. Oh my God, if I'm in mode of ignorance, will I not have faith? And can I not be a devotee? Can I is a different question. If you wish, it will happen. Right? But Krishna says, your wish is my demand for anything related to bhakti. But the point is, basically, where do they come from? Like Srila Prabhupada at the age of 5 was born in a transcendental family, which is very rare. But at the age of, when he was a small child, right, when he saw the pictures in the altar, his father had given him small deities, right, for themselves and said, do puja. So there is this ISKCON temple in Chennai, and from there is a temple called Matsya. So that's the fish avatar, and I've been there because it looks very nice. And I noticed there's a deity in the middle. There is Narayana, here, and on the right hand side there is a park which has small gates, and it was written Kuti's temple. Kuti's temple means kids' temple below 12 years, and they had very beautiful idols like Rama's idol, Ganesha idol, all idols, right? All deities and devatas, so that only kids can go and do puja. So when parents are there, imagine kids will have so much of feeling, right? Oh, I'm not allowed to touch anything, but here this is my temple, right? The sense of belonging comes. Use it at the time. But what we tell, hey, you're small, okay, don't touch. Right? That's the habit we've developed. We don't even allow the child to come near the altar. But if you, of course, it's difficult to manage a child at the altar. But if you give separately, maybe they will do their own pujas. So maybe it's a high time we should start. But we think, oh, maybe the child will leave the deity on the floor. No problem. But trust me, if you give it to them, they will take more care than any of us, right? So that's a specialty. So now I gave you you all told me that I gave a thriller. Now I'm going to give you a ghost movie. I'm not giving, Krishna is giving. So I'm going to start this one. And this is a very nice topic. And let's spend some time on this. Jajante satvika devan yacha rakshamsi rajasaha pretam bhutagamanam schanya yajante tamasajanaha. Hare Krishna. Please read. Prabhu, lead louder.
Men
Yes,
in the
Mataji.
mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So very clearly, demigod worshippers are in the mode of goodness. I know what you're telling. In the 4th chapter, Krishna told, don't worship demigods, come to me. That's fine. Right? But he says that even if you worship demigod, I'm the one who gives the faith. And I'm the one who will give power to the demigods because they are administrators. And by doing, Varnashram, you get purified and you come to me. Then what is this, Mataji? You are contradictory. He is not contradictory. He is telling that instead of praying the demigods, you come to me because I'm going to give you what you want. But those who worship demigods are also in the mode of goodness. So typically, all of us in this room are technically, as per this definition of bhakti, are in the mode of goodness. Because somewhere someone would have worshipped some god. We may have not known that Krishna is the greatest god, but we've all worshipped. Yes or no?
Yes.
So there is one more set of people in the mode of passion who worship great leaders. Did you all know that? You're okay, Delhi, Calcutta, okay. It seems Amitabh Bachchan has a temple in Calcutta. One of the youth students told me. Anybody is aware of this?
No, Mataji.
At least are you aware there is an actress called Khushbu? Khushbu? I'll ask the Shyam Prabhu, you know one actress by name Khushbu?
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Tamil.
Mataji.
Very nice, thank you. Arun Prabhu? He becomes silent now. Yes or no?
No, Mataji.
You're
No,
not aware?
Mataji.
Okay, which part of India are you from?
I'm from Delhi, Mataji.
Oh, Delhi, okay, sure. So if you're talking about South, they all know this actress called Khushbu. Of course, she's the old.
Controversial actor.
Yeah, so there's a temple in Madurai. So tell me, for an actress or an actor, whatever it is, even if he's Amitabh Bachchan, does he deserve a temple? Right? You can, of course, have a statue, you glorify him, have everything, but you don't deserve a temple, right? And like politicians, you see a lot of people trying to, salute the politicians. Why do they salute? Only because of power, right? And now moving on to the Hitler. Does anyone like Hitler here? Any lovers of Hitler? Any fans of Hitler? I mean, you can love Hitler. There's nothing wrong.
No, Mataji.
Huh? No. Okay. So Hiranyakashipu, Ravana also had fan club. Like that, Hitler had a huge fan club. Right? And what was the speciality of this fan club is because he got a lot of profit during the reign of Hitler. His rules increased profit. So he was praying with Hitler. So all this is mode of passion. Now the mode of ignorance we need to understand very clearly. How many of you all in this room do not believe in ghosts? Nobody, is there at least one person in this room who does not believe in ghosts? All of you believe in ghosts. And I will raise my hand because I never used to believe in ghosts until I read Bhagavad Gita. So one of my realization after reading Bhagavad Gita is, oh, acha, there is ghosts. Did you all know or you all didn't know? Okay, how many of you all believe in ghosts?
No, Mataji, I don't believe in ghosts.
Then you should have told no, Prabhu, when I told, okay, then it's high time you should start believing in Prabhu because I never used to believe in ghosts. But don't get scared because my mom is telling, don't tell me all this. I don't want to believe in ghosts. I said, just because you don't believe doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because even I never used to believe in ghosts. But here this reveals, right? And going back to Goloka chart, right? There is ghost. So now this is mode of goodness. You pray, you go there, you go to passion, you go here, and this one is ghost loka. You can all this black magic ghosts come here. What I want you all to understand, I brought these pictures up, is not to get scared of ghost. Explain to you that what is ghost. A ghost is something which has a soul but without a body. That's it. Nothing beyond that. A ghost has a body, does not have a body we have. So please understand, we have a soul, we have a gross body which you see, and there is a subtle body. When the subtle body leaves, we'll get mukti. If the subtle body does not leave us, we do not get mukti. We only come back in some form or the other. But if the gross body leaves us and we don't have a gross body, like for example, on committing suicide, the scheduled life is 60 and someone dies at 20, 40 years, the person will be a ghost. So that is the disadvantage of the body, because all the cravings is there for the ghost, and it will get hold of someone. Whom will it get hold of? Someone in the tamas or ignorance. It is not easy for the ghost to get hold of someone in the mode of goodness. That is why they say if someone is practicing bhakti, even devatas, ghost cannot run. Even for black magic, it is very difficult. What is the reason? Is because currently we are here, okay, and we are here. So Krishna is here and we are here. It's okay. Depending on the faith, maybe a pure devotee, is here. Madhyamadhikari is here, but Uttamadhikari is here. Madhyamadhikari is here, and we are Kanishta. We may be here, but still we are looking at Krishna, right? You see a difference. We are still looking at where is my looking at Krishna. The distance may be there, but prior to this Krishna conscience, we were not looking at Krishna. We were this side. We were turning that side. Therefore, the possibility of ghost to enter could enter in the middle. It or not even middle, it will come here. This side it will come, ghost can attack you and go, because nobody is there to protect us. But now, even if we are far, ghost has to come in between, which means it has to come before Krishna. Will the ghost have the guts to come before Krishna? Yes or no? Hare, tell something.
No,
No,
it can't have the guts to come.
Yeah.
I did not
No,
understand
Mataji.
that, Mataji.
Yeah. So the ghost cannot. So that's a concept. So whether you're close to Krishna or far away from Krishna, as long as you're a devotee, as long as you believe in bhakti, ghost cannot come. So why I'm telling you is, while I'm going to talk to you about ghosts, none of you all will be able to encounter ghosts. So if anyone really feels bad, oh my God, I would love to see the ghost, and I'm losing this opportunity completely, then you might have to give up on Krishna conscience, right? You cannot do chanting, because if you're doing chanting, ghost will be scared, it will not come. So I just wanted to give you this asterisk, right? So now coming to the point, so I explained this concept of what is ghost. Now we called Pitraloka. I told you all very clearly that there is this there is this situation where you do little good, you go to Pitra. Heaven is different, right? Swarga Loka, where you have demigods, and there you go, you have subtler body, different. Now what happens as soon as we are, that is the person is dead, as soon as I die, the particular subtle body is still there, but I get another body, so gross body is God, which is subtler than the gross body, heavier than the subtle body. It's in between. So based on that, suppose if I'm destined to go to hell, I go, and that second subtle body only suffers. This body will be there in that body is only called Pretan. Right? This body Pretan continues to be there until in Pitraloka, and until it finds another body. So why we do Pitru Puja is because you are trying to satisfy Vishnu, telling that please give one body to my Pitru. Right? And therefore, obviously a suitable body. Okay, my Pitru gets only a dog body or a monkey body, then he will tell, okay, you're praying so much, okay, let me give him another chance. Since you're a devotee, I will give him another human body and a second chance. So that is why we do Pitru Puja. And Pitru Puja is largely done for Vishnu, to satisfy Vishnu, so that our Pitrus can get blessed. So now you understand the concept of ghost is someone who live above our planet. Why? Because they are more powerful. They can conquer, provided we are in the mode of ignorance. Dirty, always drunk, into drugs, those kind of people only they can do. So is black magic. Someone in Krishna conscience, black magic cannot do anything. Absolutely cannot do anything at all. So that is the point which you all have to remember. So ghost, Bhuta. That someone who is not having sharir, right? He is like roaming without sharir. Pretan is something who does have a subtle body, as well as one more subtle body, and looks out for a body. And Pitraloka is where the Pretans will go and sit. So Pretan is a transformation. Till they go to Pitraloka, Pretan will continue. Once they go to Pitraloka, okay, they have a chance of getting a body, and they do. So the moment the person is dead, You can feel the person is because not just the subtle body, but that one more subtler body is there. Until they go to Pitruloka, until they get a body from there, where they are shortlisted, they get this, they have the second subtle body. Hare Krishna. Clear? So ghost movie over. We'll go to class 17.5 and 6. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Nobody wants to read?
Those
Please read.
who undergo
Sorry,
fear
please
of
go ahead. Go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egoism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their body organs as well as the super soul dwelling within are to be known as demons. Hare Krishna.
Clearly, thank you so much. So he says who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs, right? So you have someone who are in the mode of passion and they torture so much their bodily organs. Right? Example, even Hiranyakashipu here, Ravana, these are not there. Nobody has told God, you have to torture yourself. Nowhere it is mentioned. Right? Bhagavad Gita clearly says, because not only they bother themselves, they're also disturbing the super soul. Now, imagine you're in a rental house. You don't like the wall in between. Can I break the wall? Can I break the wall? We are not even allowed to put a name or a color, right? You need a permission of the owner. So this body does not belong to us, it belongs to Krishna. Where do we have the rights to torture the body? Thinking that itself shows that we are asuric, right? Because we think I am the body, this is my body. Unknowingly, I tell this is my mobile. I say this is my hand. I don't say I hand. I don't tell I mobile. Okay, fine, it's an external thing. I don't tell I hand, I tell my hand. So you very clearly know that the mind relates to soul. And this relates to the body, right? So very clearly we can see the difference. So we have no right to torture the body in any form. Walking in the fire, I thought only Indians do. But I later realized even in Western countries, they have all this, right? Walking in fire and all that, they still practice. So we're not supposed to do that in any form, right? So 17.17, Hare Krishna. Aharastvapi sarvasya trividdo bhavati priyah yajnas tapastata dhanam tesham vedamimam shrinu.
Hare Krishna. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions between them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very clear reading. So what they are telling is the food also is in three modes. So there are four characters which are influenced by modes. One is eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Those who know to discriminate, right, they base on the activity, whereas foolish, they consider that all kinds of foods, sacrifice, etc. are the same. They don't discriminate. If you don't discriminate, we are going to be in trouble. So this very clearly says that. So we are going to see, we have time, so we can do foods, right? So what happens is foods. So you can start, Prabhu. You can read about foods. And you can start now associating where you fall. Please go ahead. Food.
Foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, pause. So this is the kind of food which is juicy, sweet, fatable, and palatable. Example, this one, right? So typical wedding, South Indian wedding food. I'm sure North Indian is also similar. All your salads, which you can think of, all the West, Bombay, Delhi, right? All these custards and all the very soft, all your kheers, these are all very healthy, very juicy, fatty, of course, very palatable to the mouth. Sat. We are going to see, Prabhu will read the foods in, passion. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the modes of passion.
Very clearly, foods that are too bitter, sour, salty, pungent, dry, hot, all them are in the mode of passion. Why is that so? Because you think you should ask now Sham Prabhu. Sham Prabhu, your food, how is it, Prabhu?
That the first one, Mataji, I will take very.
I thought you're from Andhra.
Of course, but I don't prefer this kind of this.
Very nice, very unusual, because I have a friend from Andhra. I'm Telugu as well. So I lived in Germany for a while, for about 3 months, and I came back. There they eat bland food. At least I had to eat only bland food there. You don't have too many choices. After coming, I could not take spicy food, even medium spice. So when I used to take food which is very bland, my mom used to tell, "What's wrong with you?" Even now, when I tell it's too spicy, she says, "What's wrong with you?" And all the relatives, "Radhika, are you okay? What's wrong with you? Maybe you should check." So until I read Bhagavad Gita, even I thought maybe I should check. So what happens is your taste of your surrounding people, it's important to know Shastra, because they'll give you a feeling that something is wrong with you, even if everything is perfect.
Yes, Mataji.
Right? Do you get what you're telling? And I'm sure, Prabhu, you can relate. And if you are sitting in Andhra and you like this kind of food, that means you're in a different world.
Yes.
I can totally relate. So everybody, even now, what's wrong with you? Something okay. Something is wrong. Even my husband tells, something is wrong with you, da. Something is seriously wrong. How can you eat this kind of food? It's tasteless. It is tasty, but their mind of taste is related to spice, burning part. I have a friend of mine, and if I have to eat any food, the first thing I'll bring out is juice. And she keeps picking a fight. She says, "Why are you taking the juice? It'll fill your stomach." I said, "I can't forget filling the stomach. I can't even, fill my tongue, fill my mouth with your food if I don't layer it with everything possible." And they used to give raita. Okay, all vegetables in that raita, very nice, along with chilies. So can you imagine, the purpose of raita is to cool and nullify the spice. And if that is made so spicy, you can imagine. And in Andhra, they all take a cup of ghee. You know why? Because if they don't layer the food with a cup of ghee, your stomach gets layered with ulcer. So imagine what is the level of, and they don't add too much fat because there's so much of spice that spice itself burns it. Whereas if we take the sattvic food and have this small cup of ghee like butter, in 1 week's time, we'll go up. Right? So that is the concept, because it's not a healthy practice, but I'm just saying. So all those who are in weight loss, don't keep trying spicy food. You will not lose loss of weight. You'll have very dangerous sufferings because of that. And yes, Prabhu, you can go ahead. Let's see the stale food, which is a fashion today. Can you read? Oh, it's good. Okay.
Such foods cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, and putrid. Further, I could not read, Mataji.
Yeah.
Decomposed and unclean is food liked by people in the mode of ignorance.
Okay, so typically, I still remember my sister-in-law telling, "Are you crazy? Will you cook every day?" I will cook only once a week. Now, the once a week, you won't be able to see the worms with your eye, but there are a lot of microns which are there, which once it's visible to you, many of them tell that it's visible. So I remove that layer. Boss, you remove that layer which is visible, but there is a lot of invisible worms underneath which is getting developed, right? No, I'll remove 2 layers. 3rd layer also will have. So these which can typically be in the mode of ignorance. And anything except prasad, you don't keep it and eat, even in the refrigerator, because they are naturally getting spoiled. Right? So 16 Hare Krishna.
Of sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to duty and to the scriptural rules, and with no expectation of reward, is of nature of goodness.
Hare Krishna. So you don't expect any reward. Example, you do japa. Does anyone expect that, okay, I've done 1 round of japa, God, therefore I should get this extra 1 promotion? Anyone prays like that?
No.
Right? So there is absolutely no expectation or reward in that. And Arun Prabhu, your hand is raised. Is there a question you have? If it's a question, you can wait. But if you want to read, yes, you can go ahead and read the next.
Question, Mataji, one question I had with respect
okay,
to
please ask.
So it mentioned like Krishna says, if the food is, stale, which is basically cooked more than 3 hours, we should not eat.
Yes.
Does it, because, we said with the prasadam, we can eat it, whatever, if it is, even it is more than 3 hours, we can still eat it. So should we really eat that, or should we avoid that as well? Because it's a food, although it's a prasadam, we know, but should we avoid that, or?
So Prabhu, 2 things first and foremost. Scientifically, I will touch, then I'll come spiritually. Scientifically also the food offered to Krishna, if you see, is in a mode of goodness, right? We don't use onions, garlic, any food which can become stale is not actually used. So what do we use for Krishna also? If you use curd, it can become sour, but becoming stale is very rare. So 90% even scientifically, the quality of food which is used there does not get stale. Whereas if you take passion, right, you put a lot of onions, right, a lot of chilies, lot of items which like garlic, all this, which can actually get that pungent smell, right, or mushroom. All these can really, in fact, mushroom will go in influence. So these are the things which can push. That is one. Spiritually speaking, also the food which is prasad is tasted by Krishna. But this doesn't mean that prasad should be kept for long. That is why they say prasad can be eaten in two sources. You can even take it from the dog's mouth. It's so pure, right? You don't normally share food, but prasad you can share. And you can take it anytime. So normally what happens in our family, even us, that's why I tell Shastra, I will tell, okay, prasad you got, okay, keep it before God. I will go take bath and all and come and take. No. Prasad has no such time, just like japa. You can take whenever, wherever. So even in the road, you can take and eat. Even in your by dirty hands, it's decency you wash your hand, but otherwise you can you can just eat it wherever you are. Be it temple, be it road, you just come out and they're giving it to you, you can take it. Prasad is up, it's like this, right? Right? Apapa viddham means even the sins go off and it's so pure. It's an propliotic and antibiotic, like sun. Sun enters abominable things, right? Like urine or stool or a dead body. If it is before sun, it becomes a manure. It gets decomposed, right? The sun has the potency. Like that, Krishna has the potency. So yes, you can keep, but don't keep it as a purpose, right? Don't tell, okay, I'm going to keep before Krishna. I don't want to cook. Therefore, once a week I will make prasad and eat. That's not what is still recommended. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, did I answer your question?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
Now that we are talking something about prasad, I have one doubt. Should we offer prasad, the only food that we cook, or we can buy sweets from outside and keep as prasadam?
See, Mataji, anything in the mode of goodness you can keep. But the problem why we don't keep outside food is because we don't know who. See, the two things matters. One is offering, fine. What about cooking? Cooking, the mood of the person who's making. The person who's making the sweet will be in two modes. Either he is in the mode of passion because he wants money and all that, or he is in the mode of ignorance because most of the time people who work in the shop will be a Sudra, right? He need money. So he will either do it out of a duty or headache or pain. And that mood really transfers. We think, how does a mood play? It does. Because if you see Bhishma, Draupadi asked him, he was in the blood of arrows, bed of arrows, with a lot of blood oozing. And Draupadi asked him, you know all dharmas, and you were with when this was happening. You could have at least stopped. You tried, but did you really stop? Because you had the authority, right? He could pull back the kingdom logically. He can say, this is adharma. I don't want. I can't be the king, but I can be the power of attorney. He could have pulled it back, right? See, only thing he promised is, I will not take power. But when the king goes, he will always stand by the throne. He could tell that, why you are not the rightful owner. I will hold. He didn't do anything. So that time he told, it's because of the food I ate. Not the food he ate was sattvic, but he said the cooking. I was served that kind of food. I don't want. Right? And same thing Krishna says when Duryodhana, when he comes as a Shanta, what is it? Shanti roop. Duryodhana says, why don't you have food? He says, I don't want to do because it's neither devotee, you're neither a devotee, nor is it prasad, nor you're giving it out of love. I don't. And he will go and eat the skin of the banana given by Vidurani, which is Vidura's wife. Because she doesn't do it intentionally, she out of love throws off the banana and gives a peel, the skin, and he eats. Because he says that there, I see love. I'm okay with that. Right? So please don't give peels to Krishna. We are not exalting. Right?
No, what my question?
I'm coming. So the only reason we don't give food from outside to Krishna is because we don't know which mood they are prepared. So that's why I'm telling you the mood of preparation has an impact. That's why I told these stories. Hare Krishna. Did I answer you?
Yes, Mataji. Continuing with it, now we have a guest. They bring in some sweets, and we can't say no. We can't throw it. Also, in that case, what should we do, Mataji?
See, Mataji. This is a very nice answer. It all depends on what level. If the person who's giving itself is a devotee, he himself will not buy sweets. See, what we are currently doing is we are practicing devotees. So what we do is sweets from outside also we take. We only make sure that it is sattvic, right? For example, suppose we have no choice, but we go to a non-vegetarian restaurant. Just assume. but we will try our best to eat only vegetarian, right? But given a chance, we will not enter a non-vegetarian industry.
Yes.
Or maybe we are forced to enter because of some work, right? You're in a work, you can't leave, you'll be there, but you'll stick to a vegetarian food. Like that, if a guest comes and gives you, you have two choices. You don't have to throw it out. If you are really following the, I will only eat prasad, if you're gone to that level, then you can always give away that sweets to somebody. Because if you're sticking so much to it, but I'm okay, I'm not that strict, I'm okay, I don't mind taking here and there. If you're believing that policy, then it doesn't apply. But if somebody is like extremely exalted, they will take only prasad. If you take, for example, Namanishta Prabhu, he will take only prasad. Prabhupada, he will go and cook his own food wherever he is and make only prasad and eat. Otherwise, they will not have. They will have fruits, they will have something and manage. But I'm just explaining to you, that's how we are. So it depends on where we are, right? I'm not telling this is how you should be. I understand today it's difficult and we are trying. You don't have to do it overnight, Mataji. Slowly you can, get there. It takes time, but then you get there. So this is the story. So can you give to Krishna? You can, but we are not sure because it's not in sattvic mood. So we try and avoid giving outside food to Krishna. But if there is no other choice, you definitely have you're unwell and you want to do Janmashtami, you want to give something. Krishna doesn't tell you have to buy exotic food. You can just give a fruit, right? Because the fruit is also from a seller, but you can wash the fruit and you can serve that cut fruit and give him even a full fruit. You can give it. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
I'm convinced you, Mataji, but I'm just telling you what's in Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So now sacrifice in the mode of goodness is according to the scriptures. So why am I telling sacrifice? So sacrifice means not losing something, yagnas, right? So whatever it is, what do you mean by goodness is we say japa is sankirtan yagna. Going to a temple, you don't expect anything, you just go. That is mode of goodness. But if you need something, for example, my cousin was telling that there is a yagna in Vijayawada or something, when it's like 20,000. If I do that, someone told me that from abroad, I will get relocated to Chennai. So I don't know how someone can do a yagna and come. Or maybe it's true because demigods may also grant you something, but it's temporary, right? So, but the sacrifice is performed for some material end or befit or performed ostentatiously out of pride. This is the nature of goodness. Example, let's say any particular yagna. There are many people who do, right? It's a new building I've constructed. I'm doing a puja. Please come and see, not the puja, but the temple. Happens or not? So these are in the mode of passion. And the mode of ignorance, let's read. Yes, Prabhu or Mataji, you all can read. Hare Krishna. Please read.
That sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural junctions, in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and no remunerations are made to the priests, and which is faithless, that sacrifice is of the nature of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So basically, no hymns chanted. So there is no mantra. You don't give food. Like it reminds me of the high tea. I used to hate that. So somebody tells come for high tea and you'll be so hungry and high tea will become 6:37. It's your typical dinner time. They'll give you 4 chips and 1 mini samosa and 1 juice. Do you recall? Either the juice will be a Coke or a Sprite, or sometime back it used to be even Rasna. So anyone calls high tea, I used to be so irritated to even go there, because there's a very concept. So we used to have this concept of birthdays. Me and my brother were born on the same day. We were 3 years apart, but still. So mom used to make everything at home, right? She used to make cakes at home. She used to bake at home. She used to make icing with names at home. Previous day itself, she used to start. And she used to never had high tea. She used to have full-fledged meal, all your veg palav, veg biryani, everything, like completely sweet, ice creams. Ice creams were also homemade. So everything, I still can't remember. I can't even think, just as Mataji told, if someone is coming, the first thing I do is order. Because A, we don't have the time. Second, we don't have the patience more than the time. Right? Its first thing is, I would say, we don't have the patience, right? Or interest. So now what happens is we will go on. This is the concept. So those days, charity or everything used to be like this. Of course, I'm just giving this as an example. But here, what happens is this is more to do with sacrifice. So I'll stick to the sacrifice part. This one I'll talk again when we are talking about charity. So this one is this guy wanted to cut his own neck, and Shiva didn't come out of love. He came out of compassion. He could not see the trauma of a devotee, so-called devotee. So he came there. And any hymns chanted without paying the priest or without the chanting is all in the mode of ignorance. So this is what is talking about the mode. And with this, we will pause. We did a few, and we will come. So let's quickly see what we saw today. So let me stop the screen. Any doubts you all can ask? Meanwhile,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
One of the sloka you mentioned, super soul will get disturbed by performing some austerities.
Yes.
How come, Mataji? Even our normal soul will not be touched by weapons or anything, but that too.
Thank you so much. Very thoughtful. I had the same question. Give me 1 second, Prabhu. I will highlight that as I'm doing the summary of this, right? It's fine. So we saw 17th chapter. We did 3 sessions. We have totally 6 and we've covered half. So we see that one's mode, is depending, one's modes play a role on the activities, faith and worship. Right? We saw the foods in the modes and we saw the sacrifice in the modes, right? So in that food in the mode, we feel that the food, as you are born, will have a great influence. What you pray is decides your modes, right? Or a mode decides whom you pray. You definitely can change. Your austerities are there. So what does a wise do? They will follow the shastras. Whereas food, which is a very palatable food, is in goodness, and spicy food is in ignorance, and this sweet food, right? The whatever cheese kind of thing is ignorance because it's stale. Same way, yagnas, without any expectation of reward is in goodness. Whereas if as a duty you do, whereas if you do something which is in the mode of expectation, it is passion. And if you do with a idea of assumption, which is not there in the scripture, it is, talking about the mode of ignorance. Now, what I'm talking about is that the soul also is getting affected, right? Let me just go there. Meanwhile, what happens is, how does the soul get affected? Super soul is theoretically, there are 2 things, right? So super soul, you're affecting to Paramatma. Soul is also having a relationship, but we have forgotten. But the soul also has feelings. Do you understand, Prabhu? So if I have to go back, I'll take 1 minute. Mind, right? So mind has a particular behavior, characteristic. So what is it? It's called, doing, right? Doing something, not doing something. Choice. In fact, mind wants to do, does not want to do. Yes, can you see the flickering behavior of the mind? That is the quality of the mind. What is the quality of intelligence? It's determination. You see, I'm determined to do. I want to do japa. See, mind is flickering. I will eat, I will sleep. It has 2 things. I want to do, I don't want to do, both. But intelligence says whether I like it or not, I will do japa. Determination goes to that. And what is the quality of the soul? It's bliss, happiness, right? So why am I telling this is, Prabhu? The soul by nature needs bliss. Happiness is related as a quality of the soul. And if you talk about the super soul remembers, soul does not. So soul forgets which is bliss. So when it comes here, the soul does not feel anything because of the fact that it understands that Anandamaya, all of you are feeling happy when I'm talking, is not because I'm telling a story, it's because I'm telling Krishna Katha, right? Your soul is listening, and that you don't realize, but you're satisfying your soul. So we are in the Anandamaya platform, right? So you're giving bliss. So the soul also has a feeling which we don't recognize because we relate happiness to the material world. Okay, I eat ice cream, it's happiness. I relate to the senses. However, the super soul is not independent. Is independent of us, but it is linked relationship of the super soul. So therefore, if you are going through any trauma, the super soul also suffers. So if you're creating a trauma, the super soul also suffers, not physically in terms of pain, but emotionally. Just like how the soul is not seeing pain, but it is Anandamaya, is the happiness. Bliss don't relate to external body, right? Bliss is a concept of the soul. Like if you don't get Krishna, it's like suicide, right? Atmaha. So like that, the super soul, which is God, is not feeling external pain, but in the heart, Krishna is feeling bad. Krishna is not happy punishing. So a father or a mother, Prabhu, if a child does mistake, grounds the child, right? Locks the child. Is the parent happy about punishing the child?
No.
Right? Any parent says, I punished the child, I'm very happy. Maybe you're happy because you are teaching the child a lesson, but the child suffering is not something you like, right? Trying to scold the child. Do any parent love scolding a child? Whatever be the mistake. Do you enjoy, oh, I scolded the child, I enjoy, hey, I scolded the child today.
No, Mataji.
No,
Same way
Mataji.
Krishna does not enjoy punishing us. or scolding us or be going through trauma, because he goes through an emotional pain as well, right? We may not realize it, but he is remembering the past, present, and future. So if a child is good and he is doing bad, just like your child, you feel that he was such a good child. I don't know what happened to him. Same way Krishna also thinks. He's such a good person, good child. I don't know why he did this. He has the same feeling, just related. Same way when you go through trauma, when you burn fire, he says that, why are you doing this, child? You come to me and ask, I will give you. I'm going to give you based on your karma, because I don't want to do anything which is going to recreate situation. And whatever I do is going to be good to you. Trust me. Why do you have to burn your hand, burn your leg? You don't have to do all that. Sarva dharmyam parityaga mam ekam smaranam raja, right? So he says that you give up all religion. Why are you even doing, when he's telling you give up all your false beliefs, why will he say traumatize yourself? So that's what it is. So it's not that Krishna's body is suffering physically. It is basically Krishna's super soul is suffering because of the pain. So this is a story. I will just add, you'll understand. So there is this particular devotee, right? And Hanuman, Hanuman is a exalted devotee of Rama, right? He is going and he hears, Jai Jai Ram, Ram Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram. And it's very excited. Wow, there is some devotee, and he goes, and who's doing it? One guy is having a smoke, okay, and he is littering. And when he is passing urine, he's smoking Jai Jai Ram, Ram Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram Ram. He's doing this, right? Anjaneya gets so angry. Bhaga, you are in an abominable place and you're smoking and you're calling Ram's name, and he gets so angry. Sometimes Anjaneya can get anger, and he just kicked him. He gave him one tight kick. And Anjaneya is powerful. What would have happened? It's a pleasant surprise. It's not a ghost. Don't worry. Excuse me. Are you there or not there?
You would have died.
Yeah. So naturally, anybody would die. So it's very natural, right? But what happens invariably? Anjaneya flies in reverse. He's going straight to Ayodhya, not India, Ayodhya. In Vaikunta, there is Ayodhya. And he is there and he goes there. He's shocked. Arey, what is this? I do this. What is happening? Okay. And he says, Ram, Ram. He's calling for Ram. And Ram comes, Rama is coming, little limping. So Anjaneya says, what happened? Why are you limping? He says, you're so powerful and you're my devotee. So if you kick me, so naturally I will limp. So he's telling, I kicked you. How can you even tell that I kicked you? Can I even imagine, you're my, you're my Aradhana. I can't even think of that. He says, of course you did. When did I do? You did. When? See, he was chanting Ram. The name Ram and form is no different. So when he was calling Ram, you kicked correctly when he was saying Ram. And therefore, when you kicked me, it is me whom you kicked. So therefore, I got a hit. Yesterday, Arun Prabhu was telling that story, right? With stone. Didn't leave and go. So Ram is holding on. He actually kicked Ram. So because of that kick, because Ram is powerful, he flew to Ayodhya, right? Even though he touched Ram by his leg, that power pulled him to Ayodhya. But the flip side of it is, he is a devotee. So Ram has to take the hit of the devotee. So he protected the devotee. He got the hit also. So because Anjaneya is a devotee himself, he had to take the blow. So that's why Ram is also going through pain. So it's not that physically Ram got hurt, but he wanted to tell this lesson. So therefore, he also goes through that trauma. So this is about the soul, super soul. It's not that super soul one thing went and pricked him, but it is that trauma. If a child is suffering, mother also suffers more, right? Why do you say that the mother suffers more than the child? It is because mother is having an emotional trauma, right? And that pain of emotion is more. So the super soul suffers more, not because the burning is felt at the gross level, but at the soul level. The soul, super soul suffers as much, if not more, when we suffer. That's a fact. And if when we induce suffering, super soul goes through a lot of pain. So that's a fact. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, are you convinced?
Hare Krishna, very much, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So the other way, even if the soul is happy, super soul is also happy.
The soul will only be happy when you give Krishna, the soul. But we relate happiness to body. So the body is happy, soul may not be happy. Two different things. Right? The body may get happy even if you take a drug, but the soul does not enjoy that. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
So in order to make a soul happy, we need to do the chanting, reading of the books.
Yes. You have to give Krishna to the soul. Soul needs that.
That is what we have to learn in this classes. We should not work for the sense gratification. We should work for soul gratification. That is the most important thing. We have to do it. That is what.
If money is the greatest happiness in the world, then why rich people commit suicide?
Yes.
You will tell he had disease. No, he may not have disease. Everyone who has committed suicide does not have disease. We have such young actor and actresses who commit suicide. Why? Because they want the name, they want to be in movie, they are in the movie, they are already rich, right? Why would he commit suicide? So there was this actor by name Uday Kiran, right? He was supposed to be the son-in-law of Chiranjeevi. He was supposed to marry his daughter, but I think he was caught with another girl and they called off the wedding. He was still a hero in Telugu because Shyam Prabhu is there, right?
Yes.
And after a few years, he committed suicide at the age of 30. Why? So he had money, he was acting in movie, he had popularity, he was rich, he was young, he was good looking. And why did he commit suicide? He was in the movie industry. It is because he would have not, instead of giving girl, if he had had Bhagavad Gita, right, his soul would have given him a direction. Otherwise, in spite of having and achieving everything, he did not get the bliss. That's it. Right? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody who's got stories to share today? Story?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I have one story.
Yes. Arun Prabhu, video, no more video? You have a cute face you can show us, no? No?
I don't have a cute face, but I can own.
No, Mataji, this is not the platform to show the physical beauty. You have to show in the inner beauty. So
no, that is why I'm telling you, the cute face will show the inner beauty. No, if you cut, I will only have one vision, which is only ears which will come.
No need of worry about the external beauty.
But what happens is, Prabhu, the only once for me, unfortunately, we have material body. No, so the sense, the beauty of expression cannot be seen just through voice. So imagine, I will tell you, if I'm going to show like this, right, and I keep talking, how much I can get your attention. But
yes.
Right? Whatever it is, whether I look nice, not nice, ugly, tired, whether I'm coughing, COVID, doesn't matter. But I can relate more. So when I tell face, I'm talking about your inner beauty comes out through your beauty. Right? So that's
I request all the Matajis and Prabhus, once you should have the video vision so that we can understand each other better.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That was so nice. I think everybody, I will be very happy, but if Matajis are not wearing makeup, I totally understand. Actually, the trend is different. If Prabhujis are not wearing makeup, I can totally understand. Because today, Prabhujis are more focused on makeup. So,
yes,
I think let us do that tomorrow. So
yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, I want to see the Mohandas Prabhu physically, but unfortunately, that day he came to he done his video and I saw the Mohandas Prabhuji. I am very happy to see him that day.
I think Arun Prabhuji itself is looking different. So I can't recognize from my previous look of Arun Prabhuji. No problem. Prabhu, go ahead. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I've put spotlight.
Yes, this story is about the...
Prabhu, little louder. Your voice is a little feeble. I love the
feeble,
background of yours. Thank you, Prabhu. Can you share that picture if it's possible?
The background.
Yes, Mataji. Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
So yes, so the story is about the Narad. One day, what happened? Narad Muni went to Vaikuntha, and then he attentively, prayed to Goddess Lakshmi. And then Goddess Lakshmi was very happy, and then she asked, "You can ask me, anything." Then Narad said, "Okay, Mother Lakshmi, if you promise me that whatever I'll ask you, you will grant, then only I will ask. Then only I will, ask what because so Mother Lakshmi said yes. Okay, I will fulfill that. So the wish Narad Muni had was that Narad Muni requested Goddess Lakshmi to give him the Mahaprasad, remnants of the Lord Narayana. So the Lord Narayana's Mahaprasad. Then hearing this wish from the Narada, Goddess Lakshmi, her mood changed, and then she became a bit worried. So she asked Narad Muni to ask to wish for something else, because recently Lord Narayana have asked Goddess Lakshmi to not to give his Mahaprasad to anyone, and she cannot disobey her husband's order. So that's why she asked Narada to give it, to ask for any wish. But Narada said no, that this is only his wish. You are the you are the dear wife of Lord Narayana, so you should give me this this boon. Somehow you should give this. So now Goddess Lakshmi is in great trouble. What to do? So she told Narad Muni to wait, and then she would look into what can be done to satisfy his desire. So in the afternoon, when Goddess Lakshmi was actually serving Lord Narayana, so she was very unhappy. But then Lord noticed that even after serving me, she is very unhappy. So Lord Narayana asked Goddess Lakshmi, like, why are you so unhappy? So then she told the story that Narad Muni have asked for the Mahaprasad, and then because you told me then that I should not give to Mahaprasad to anyone, and that is the cause of my worry. So then Lord Narayana said, okay, I will cancel this restriction for you only for today, and the only condition is that you should take the prasad when I am not looking at the prasad. When I'm looking at someone else, only then you should take that prasad from me. So Goddess Lakshmi, suddenly felt very happy because Lord Narayana has removed this restriction for one day. Then when Lord Narayana looked, somewhere else, so Goddess Lakshmi took the Mahaprasad from the plate happily and then gave it to the Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, after eating that prasad, he was, like dancing, chanting, dancing. He was in full blissful ecstasy by, taking that Mahaprasad. So he was so happy. So he was going, here and there. He was completely in ecstatic mood. He could not, control himself. With his veena, he plays with veena. So he was roaming all entire the universe, like, like a pure devotee, chanting and dancing. And then looking at him, so Lord Shiva noticed Narad Muni. So then Lord Shiva asked Narad Muni, why are you such a bliss? What happened? You are constantly chanting the Lord Narayana's name, but I have never seen you in such a condition. What happened? Then Narad Muni told Lord Shiva that that he got the Lord Narayana's Mahaprasad, and after eating that prasad, he is in complete bliss. He can't stop dancing and chanting. So then Lord Shiva also then folded his hand in front of Narad Muni and said, "Oh Narad, you are so fortunate to get this taste of Mahaprasad for Lord Narayana. Have you brought any prasad for me?" Then Narad felt very sorry. That he said that sorry, Prabhu, I don't have any. I forgot to bring the Mahaprasad for you. But then he suddenly saw that there is a small little piece of Mahaprasad stuck in his nail, in his fingernail. So he took that Mahaprasad, and then that small morsel of the Mahaprasad, and then put it into the Lord Shiva's mouth. So when Lord Shiva ate that prasad, so he also started he also started dancing after eating Mahaprasad. And then when he started he also becomes so ecstatic that his dance actually converted into a tandav, like Lord Shiva does the tandav. Then looking at the tandav, when the so everything starts shaking, the whole universe started shaking. then all the Devatas and then, Indra and all, so they got scared, like what's happening. So when they saw, why Lord Shiva is doing Tandav, because he was in great happiness, then they went to Mata Parvati and asked, that why is Lord Shiva doing, Tandav, because the whole earth, whole universe is shaking, and no one was actually brave enough to directly go to the Lord Shiva, because when he does Tandav, no one has that, courage to, to ask Shiva or to stop Shiva. So they asked Mata Parvati to ask, to ask what to do. So Mata Parvati then, arrived on that place where Lord Shiva was doing Tandav. Then she humbly approached Lord Shiva, and then when he came to his external senses, when Lord Shiva saw that, okay, Mata Parvati is also there, then she asked, my dear husband, like, what happened to you? Why are you doing in such ecstasy, dance in such ecstasy? Then Lord Shiva said, that he got the Mahaprasad. Narad Muni got Mahaprasad for me. So then Mata Parvati said, have you got some prasad for me? So Lord Shiva, he could not answer because he did not had any prasad for Mata Parvati. Then hearing this, Mata Parvati got very angry, and she was so furious. So Mata Parvati itself is the power, full power. So she started, in anger, she started to burn the whole universe. So she got, such a great anger. So from all the lower to higher planets, everything started burning, and then no one could stop her. Now, looking at this, all the demigods got scared, and then they went to the Lord Brahma, and then Lord Brahma also don't know what to do. Then they actually went. So all the demigods, all the Devatas, along with Lord Brahma, they went to Lord Vishnu finally. And then hearing the situation, then finally Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana, they went to Kailash, and then asked Parvati, like, what happened. So Lord Narayana, Parvati said that that she has not got the Mahaprasad. So her anger will only be stopped once you get the Mahaprasad. So Lord Vishnu said, okay, yeah, I will give you Mahaprasad. Then she also said, no, it's not just me, but I also want all of my children to get your Mahaprasad as well. So why should only I get Mahaprasad? All of my children, basically all the demigods, all the devotees, all the people in the earth as well, they should all get the Mahaprasad. So so Lord Vishnu said, yes, okay, I will give my Mahaprasad to your children as well. So then that's how the Lord Vishnu then took a form of the Jagannath. Jagannath Puri is where he landed, and then that's where all the prasad is actually given to all the all the devotees there, and so that's the only place where Lord Vishnu and God Mata Parvati's idols, they are kept together, because they said, yeah, the first Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu is first will be given to the Mata Parvati, and then will be given to all the devotees. So yeah, that's the story.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare. Undivided attention. I could feel everybody's view was right there.
Yes,
So you narrated the story. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, you all can share your feeling. Yeah, Rupa Mataji has message. Thank you, Arun Prabhuji, for sharing the story. Yes. In fact, we should have started this long back, right? Now also it's not too late.
Yes, ma'am.
So much. Prabhu, anything else you would like to share? Tomorrow also come with the story, and it's not just Arun Prabhu. Anybody wants to share stories, it's only Shyam Prabhu and Arun Prabhu who initiate. I would want each one of you all to come over and hear the various stories from them. So Arun Prabhu on spotlight. So anybody would like to say something?
No, Mataji, thank you so much. Yeah.
Sure.
Very nicely he had explained the story. And as you rightly said, everyone was very attentive, very rapt attentive.
Yeah,
You were
I
listening
could.
to that.
Pin drop silence for the first time. I had not muted Prabhu, but pin drop silence really I noticed. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the story, Prabhu.
Slow and steady.
Yeah, very nice. And we heard Jagannath's story also invariably. So,
Yes.
so like to tell, what a coincidence. I'm leaving to Jagannath. I was telling you all I'm traveling, so I'm actually traveling to Puri Jagannath. So it's and I was looking for, can I hear some stories on Puri Jagannath? And this is what, right? God gives you what you want, right? So thankfully I could hear a complete Jagannath Puri story. I have not heard, I've heard the story, but in real summary form, like it was like a detailed version of the story from you. And thank you so much, Prabhu. So nice. And Hare Krishna. So let me, thank you. Please go ahead, Prabhu. You were saying something. Arun Prabhu, you were saying something.
No, I was saying Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. So final prayers back. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mohandas Prabhu, stop the recording. I just wanted to ask something.